Coming up next week on Coronation Street, Eileen is heartbroken after Julie's death. Theo's daughter sets her sights on Todd. Dee-Dee confesses she's forming a bond with her newborn, and Kit is troubled by memories from his past. Number 1, Eileen is crushed by Julie's passing. Eileen faces her worst nightmare sooner than expected next week when her sister Julie sadly loses her battle with illness. Julie made a surprise return to Weatherfield in February and soon confided in her family that she had been diagnosed with stage 4 sarcoma, with doctors giving her only a few months to live. After some encouragement from her relatives, Julie agreed to move into number 11 to spend her final days surrounded by loved ones. She also rekindled her relationship with her ex, Brian. In just a few weeks, Julie's condition has worsened and the pain has become harder to bear. To help her get around, Brian arranged for a wheelchair. Next week, Julie records a heartfelt message on her phone, sharing her thoughts on love. Meanwhile, George plans a romantic gesture to show Eileen how much she means to him, but his efforts don't land as intended. Eileen is quick to remind George that he was supposed to take her and Julie on a day out to the lake, something he's completely forgotten. Determined not to let the day fall apart, Eileen orders a taxi, and the two sisters set off together. Once at the lake, they take a moment to soak in the calm, scenic surroundings. Julie grows emotional, admitting there's no place she'd rather be. Later, when George arrives back at number 11, he stumbles across one of Julie's recorded messages. In it, she gently urges Eileen to rethink their relationship and consider whether it might be time to move on. Meanwhile, at the lake, Julie sends Eileen off to grab some drinks. But when Eileen returns, she's faced with a heartbreaking scene. Julie is motionless, her eyes gently closed. Eileen immediately panics and checks for any signs of life, but heartbreakingly she realizes it's too late. Julie has passed away. As the week continues, Eileen wrestles with the loss of her sister, while George becomes increasingly troubled by what Julie said in her final message. His anxiety about their future only adds pressure to Eileen as she grieves. Will Eileen listen to her sister's final wish? Could Bobby be the one blackmailing Lauren? Elsewhere on the street, Lauren remains uneasy about the mysterious messages she's been getting. Threats linked to her secret involvement in the florist van crash near the precinct. She had only taken the wheel in a panic, trying to stop Betsy from wrecking the van when Tracy appeared unexpectedly. Without thinking, Lauren jumped into the front and drove off, despite not having a driving license. Knowing Lauren risked being separated from baby Frankie if caught, Betsy offered to take the fall. Next week, Lauren tells Bobby that the messages have stopped for now, but she's not convinced it's over. She suspects the sender is simply biding their time. Later, Bobby offers to help her search for flats online, but Lauren brushes him off, insisting she can handle it alone. When she realizes how high the rents are, though, she admits she needs a job urgently. Audie steps in and offers to recommend her for a position at Freshco. Just when things begin to feel more stable, another message lands, this time demanding £500 and threatening to report her to the police if she doesn't pay. Shaken, Lauren opens up to Betsy, confessing her growing belief that Bobby might be the one behind the texts, possibly using the situation to stay close to her. Determined to uncover the truth, Lauren sets a trap. She leaves some fake cash at the arranged location and hides nearby with Betsy, watching to see who shows up. Is Bobby really the one pulling the strings? Number 3, Kit faces a blast from the past. At Weatherfield Police Station, Kit is caught off guard when Lisa informs him that Mick has been brought in for questioning over an assault, and she wants Kit to handle the interview personally. Although Mick and his wife Lou have been living on Maudsley Street for a while now and are closely connected with Kit's sister Gemma, Kit and Mick have yet to formally meet. However, it's immediately clear that Kit is unsettled by the mention of Mick's name. When he finally steps into the interview room, Mick greets him with a smirk, clearly enjoying the moment. Trying to stay composed, Kit rushes through the questioning, barely scratching the surface before abruptly calling it off and letting Mick go without pressing charges. But the situation escalates quickly. Once outside the interview room, Mick corners Kit, giving him a knowing look, and drops a loaded statement. They need to have a serious conversation. Is Mick holding a secret from Kit's past? Number 4, Mick teases Liam on his first day. Next week, Mick wastes no time making an impression as he starts his new job at the builder's yard, now under Gary's management. Teenagers, Liam and Jake also join in for a stint of work experience, and Mick quickly takes the opportunity to mess with Liam using classic on-site pranks. When Mick tells Liam to lift a heavy sack, the unsuspecting teen ends up covered in a cloud of dry cement. Despite the mishap, Liam laughs it off, determined to show he can handle the rough and tumble of the workplace. Later on, Gary persuades Maria to come out for a drink with him and Mick, but the couple may soon regret giving Mick a spot on the crew if his antics continue at their son's expense. Number 5, Millie lashes out at Todd. At the Grimshaw household, Todd is left rattled when Danielle, the estranged wife of his partner Theo, drops the news that Theo has gone missing. But Theo hasn't gone far. Soon after, he's spotted stumbling drunkenly along Victoria Street, where he ends up in a heated altercation with Mick. The confrontation escalates when Mick slams Theo against a van, just as Billy walks by and witnesses the clash. Thankfully, Ronnie intervenes before things go further, separating the two and sending Mick on his way. Left alone, a shaken Theo breaks down in front of Billy, clearly struggling with the emotional fallout. Later, the drama continues when Theo's daughter, Millie, corners him and Todd at the Undertaker's. She demands answers from her father, and Todd finds himself increasingly uneasy. Later that week, Todd is drawn outside by a car alarm, only to discover the hearse has been splashed with paint. He quickly realizes Millie is behind the vandalism. Blaming Todd for tearing her family apart, Millie lets her anger fly. Theo tries to defend her, but his reaction only intensifies the tension between everyone involved. Jenny hits rock bottom. Over at the Rovers, Jenny is feeling the full weight of Daisy's betrayal, a blow that not only fractured their relationship but also cost her £60,000 she'd set aside to invest in the pub. Opening up to Rita, Jenny laments how her life has unraveled, but Rita refuses to let her wallow, gently encouraging her to pick herself back up. She reminds Jenny that, although things haven't gone her way, she still has time, health, and a future if she's willing to fight for it. Later in the week, the blow deepens when the Rovers is officially handed over to Carla. Ryan delivers the gut punch news that Jenny is no longer his boss, making her loss feel all the more real. Meanwhile, Glenda gives a pair of potential buyers a walkthrough of the pub, but her half-hearted pitch raises eyebrows. Ryan begins to suspect she's intentionally sabotaging the sale. Is Dee-Dee rethinking adoption? This past week, Dee-Dee made the difficult choice to step in and help care for baby Laila, despite her initial decision to stay emotionally distant ahead of the planned adoption. Originally, the plan was for her brother James to adopt Laila, but when James had to rush back to the U.S. after his partner Danny was injured, the Baileys were left to juggle childcare in his absence. Now, Dee-Dee's greatest fear seems to be coming true. She confides in Eileen, revealing that she's scared of forming an attachment and ending up heartbroken. Eileen offers gentle encouragement, telling her that sometimes the heart knows best. Later, Ronnie catches a touching moment as Dee-Dee softly fusses over Laila, her usual guard slipping away. That same day, Dee-Dee opens up to Alia, admitting she's beginning to feel a strong emotional connection to her daughter. Alia listens with empathy and urges Dee-Dee to rethink her original plan, reassuring her that James would likely understand if she changed her mind about giving Laila up.